Hey guys, welcome back to BodyRock Yoga. I've been getting a lot of requests from you guys to kind of touch on some points for beginners. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. So we're just going to start off. We'll do a little bit of a warm-up flow and I will be like really breaking it down and going a little bit slower than I usually do for you guys. So we're going to start in child's pose. So child's pose, as always, big toes touch, knees wide, arms reach out in front of you. So I see a lot in my classes, I see a lot of bent arms like this. Try and walk them out as much as you can. If you have to widen your hands to do that, go for it. Just gives you a little bit more access to your shoulders the wider your hands are. And just take a second here. Start to connect with your breath, noticing your inhales and your exhales. Good. And pressing yourself up to your hands and to your knees. So, from here, starting to kick out your left leg. Keeping your back toes tucked under. Root down through your left hand, reach your right hand forward. Just a little bit of core work. Staying really strong. So you really want to think about keeping everything engaged. It's something that's really important about these poses is that it brings awareness to your entire body and really try to feel everything that's going on. So really feeling the reach, feeling the engagement in your core, feeling your breath. Good, and then we're going to switch. So dropping everything down and then switching it up. Right leg reaches out really, really long. You can either flex your toes or point them. Reaching forward. I'm just building a little bit of core. So another thing that I like to touch on, try not to lock out into your joints. Little micro bend, especially in your joints. That is what helps you build muscle. When you lock into the joints, you're not using your muscular system, you're just relying on that joint. So to build muscle, you need a little bit of a baby bend. Really good, bringing it down. Couple cat-cows here. So just start to move your spine in any way that feels good, kind of bending side to side. And then up and down. So this is a cat, like when they're angry. Pressing into the floor, tucking your chin in towards your chest. Really rounding through your upper spine. Maybe walking your hands a little bit closer, that just deepens it. Good, and then walking it out. Drop your belly down, that's cow pose. Widen your collarbones. Spending a few moments here. And your spine, as we know, is connected to everything in our body, so it's very important that we take care of it. Even when it hurts, even if you've injured it, the most important thing to do is to bring movement into your spine. Good. So from here, tucking your toes under, lift up and back to downward facing dog. So in downward facing dog, again, fingertips face forward. If you're a little bit tighter, you can turn your hands out a little bit more. Try not to have them turned in. So index fingers point forward, and fingertips just touch the edge of your mat. Like I said before, if your shoulders are a little bit tighter, you can widen them out. Wherever you are in down dog, you want to think about rotating your elbows down towards the floor. And that's a lot of muscular work, and you might not be able to do it right away, but that's where we're working, is to drop your elbows down. External rotation in your arms. I hear a lot, so you guys are going to hang out there. I hear a lot of, especially for beginners, I hear a lot of complaints about wrists, that they hurt. And that's because, one, when you're not used to being on your hands so much, the muscles are very weak. So it does take some time, and it will take some time to go away. It's just like any other muscle in your body. The other thing is that you want to be mindful of is not to sit in the heel of your hand when you're in down dog. We tend to do that because it is the biggest part of our hand and it's a lot easier to sit there, but you really want to think about rocking the weight forward into your fingertips rather than just crunching down into the heel of your hand. So really press into your finger pads, even into the knuckles. So the knuckles are where your fingers meet your palms. Really press down into there. I find when I was beginning yoga, you can take a towel or just kind of roll up your block just to lift your hands up away from the floor a little bit. It just gives your wrists some space. So again, rotating your elbows down, drop your head, Now again, if you're feeling tight and you're finding you're kind of rounding out like this, you can't quite mount your heels to the floor, that's okay. Bend your knees and then press away from your hands. So you really want a nice long spine here in down dog. It's not really about trying to get your heels to the floor more than it is trying to find some length throughout your spine. So relax your neck, keep your heels up if you need to, and then slowly work your way down. Everything takes time, so just honor where you're at and stay persistent. Challenge yourself when you need to. And you'll be surprised how fast your body moves forward. So that's down dog. From here, rolling it forward into high plank. So in high plank, shoulders stack over elbows, elbows stack over wrists. If this is too much for you, drop down to your knees. Just drop it right down. But still keep the alignment and the integrity in your upper body. So I see a lot of this when I'm teaching people just like sink. I don't know what this is, but I see a lot of sinking down, or I see a lot of this back. So bring your shoulders right over if you need to and you're building strength. This is still a lot of work here, guys. So think about squeezing your arms in towards each other. Elbows still wrap back. Arm bones squeeze in towards the sockets. Look forward. High plank. So you really want to think about tucking your tailbone down so you're accessing those muscles that are underneath your belly button, right there. So keeping them tucked under. Look forward. Try to widen through your collarbones. From here, extend your right leg back. Really reach. It doesn't have to go high, just reaching forward and back. And then see if you can hover your knee off the floor, just little pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop it down and then switch. Shoulders over elbows, elbows over wrists. Keep checking in. Extend it back. Reach through your toes, look forward. Little pulses. 5, 4. Every time you do that, squeeze your arms in towards each other. Every time you lift your knee away from the floor. 3, 2, and 1. Drop down to your knee. Come back off your wrist for a second. So stretch them out. Bring the palms of your hands flat to the floor. The top of your hands with your palms facing up. Wiggle your fingers. Try and make fists. And then the opposite way, fingers towards your knees. Heel of the hand forward. Kind of work side to side. And then give your wrists a little bit of a wiggle. Roll them out. So, if you liked that with your mat, where you had it turned up, you can continue to do that. And it kind of trains you to work into your fingertips rather than sitting into the heel of your hand. You really want to think about engaging your whole hand rather than just sinking down into the joint. So engagement everywhere. Look forward. So right now we're in the, on all fours. Shift shoulders past wrists. Look forward. Tuck your tailbone under. So moving into chaturanga. So in chaturanga, I see a lot of this. I see all, you have no idea, a bunch of funky stuff. So you don't want to let your elbows come out. It's all about bringing them back to work into the tricep, not into the bicep. So the tricep, the one that connects from here all the way down. So looking forward, rotate those elbows back. Shift your hips forward just a little bit, and then bend your elbows just an inch. Just an inch. Tuck your tailbone under, hug your belly button in towards your spine, reach your chest forward, and then lower another inch. Now I'm quivering here. This is a lot of work. So if you are feeling this, just stay here. This is perfect. We're working towards getting just to here, where elbows and shoulders are in one line. Bring it back to child's pose just for a second. So that's what we're working towards. You never want your shoulders to come past, just because then you're dumping into your shoulders and into your traps, and it causes a lot of funky stuff here. So I would rather you guys be above 90. This doesn't really help that much. This is just dumping into your shoulder. You see how my shoulders are pointing down towards the floor? This doesn't help anybody. So what you want to do, we're going to start over. So all fours, look forward, widen your collarbones. Reaching shoulders past wrists, just a couple inches, and then elbows hug your sides an inch. Tuck your tailbone under, widen your collarbones, squeeze your arms in. Lower down another inch. Squeeze in towards your body. And another inch. Hold this here. 3, 2, and 1. Untuck your toes. Good work, guys. So take a second, widen your feet just a little bit. Now we're going to work into an upward facing dog. So we're going to start with Cobra pose, which is the one it's just a little bit closer to the floor. So you're not pressing into your hands as much like you do in up dog. You're more using your upper back muscles. So in Cobra pose, heel of your hand down by your lower ribs, engage your legs. And as you inhale, wrapping your shoulder blades around your spine, reach your chest forward. So really root down through your feet, engage your legs, pull your belly button in towards your spine, hug your elbows in, and then slowly come down. Good, maybe walking your hands a little bit further back this time. Squeeze your elbows in, and then lift up. A little more pressure in the hands this time. Shoulders press away from your ears. Try to lengthen your neck, and then slowly come down. Last one. So full, what I like to call full King Daddy Cobra. You're pressing into your hands, rising all the way up. So again, elbows are still back, squeezing in towards your body, heart forward. And your hips are still connected to the floor. That's the difference between Cobra and up dog. Cobra, your hips are on the floor. Up dog, you're pressing your feet into the floor and lifting your lifting your hips away from the mat. So let's come all the way down to the floor. So moving into upward facing dog, tops of your feet press down into the floor. Really root the baby toe edge side down. Hands come a little bit further back. Elbows squeeze in, pressing up. From here, engaging your legs, press up, press up, press up. Lifting your knees away from the floor and pressing the tops of your feet down. So I see a lot of this too. This happens a lot. Think about wrapping your shoulder blades around your spine, heart forward. If you need to, you can widen your hands. It gives you a little bit more access to your shoulders. Really good. Shoulders away from your ears. And then lifting all the way up and back, downward facing dog. Good work. So we're going to go through one sun salutation with all those points that we just hit. We're going to walk your feet all the way up to meet your hands, top of the mat, big toes touch. Inhale, press up, halfway lift. And this is another place here before we start. I see this a lot. Think tailbone to the sky, chest forward, widen your collarbones. And then fold. And do that again. Straight spine, tailbone up, shoulders wide and away from your ears, and then fold. Last one, halfway lift. And fold. And coming all the way up to stand. All right. Take a second to shake it out. Close your eyes. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to fold forward. So we're moving into a sun salutation A. Breathe in, press into your shins, halfway lift. Hands reach down to the floor, bend your knees if you need to, step back to a high plank pose. Holding this here, squeeze your arms in, shoulders over elbows, elbows over wrists. Fire up your legs, press your heels back, tuck your tailbone under. For 3, 2, and 1. Drop down to your knees, look forward. Shift shoulders past your wrists just a few inches and lower down. Breathe in. Exhale an inch. Squeeze your elbows in towards your body, tuck your tailbone under, widen your collarbones, come down another inch, and another inch all the way down to the floor. Untuck your toes and inhale, upward facing dog or Cobra. So this is Cobra, pressing into your feet and lifting your hips away from the floor, upward facing dog. And then lifting all the way up and back, downward facing dog. With straight legs and flexed feet, walk all the way up to the top of your mat. We'll do that a little bit faster this time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Breathe in to reach all the way up. Exhale, all the way back down. Straight spine, long spine, halfway lift. Hands to the floor, stepping it back, high plank. Dropping to your knees. Looking forward, shoulders past your wrist, tuck your tailbone under, arms squeeze your sides, chaturanga. Don't let those shoulders come past your elbows. Untuck your toes all the way down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good work. So that is a sun salutation A. Walk your feet up to meet your hands, moving into a sun salutation B. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Inhale, sit your hips low. So in Utkatasana, everything squeezes into center. Big toe squeeze in, knee squeeze in. Relax your shoulders. If you're a little bit tighter, you can do cactus arms, so bending your elbows, wrapping your shoulder blades around your spine. Inhale, lift your chest up high. Exhale to fold. Halfway lift. Hands down, stepping it back, high plank. Dropping to your knees, looking forward, chaturanga. Just halfway. Untuck your toes to the floor. Upward facing dog. Shoulders wrap back, heart reaches forward. Up and back, downward facing dog. So moving into warrior one. So right foot steps through in between your hands, dropping your left heel down to the floor. So your left toes will face out to about 10, 11 o'clock. Root down into your back foot. So press the outer edge, the baby toe side of your foot down, and then coming up. So this is warrior one. In warrior one, hips forward. So for me, I like to widen my stance a little bit. I like about hip width between my feet, just so you have some access to your hips. Usually they say about heel to heel alignment. Make it work for you. So breathing in, warrior one. Try drop your tailbone down, try not to reach forward too much. Create some space in that hip flexor. And then warrior two, so you're opening your hips, warrior two. So in warrior two, front foot facing the front of your mat, back foot is facing the left side of your mat if you're doing your right leg. So take up some space, drop your weight down center. So I see a lot of this leaning thing. Try to keep everything centered, just drop your hips low. Reach your arms out, warrior two. Flip your palms, reverse warrior, back hand drops to your back leg, reaching up. Coming back up, warrior two. Hands to the ground. Taking your right side high lunge. And then finding your way back to downward facing dog. There we go. From here, rolling forward high plank. Drop down to your knees. Chaturanga, squeeze your sides. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Breathe in to look forward. Exhale to bend your knees. And then walk to the top of your mat. Big toes touch. Halfway lift, breathe in. Straight spine. Forward fold. Sit back down into Utkatasana, chair pose. So this time, try to lift all 10 toes away from the floor. So it's really encouraging you to bring your weight back into your heels. Keep squeezing your knees in. And then folding forward. Halfway lift. This is our second side of Sun B. Bend your knees, stepping it back, high plank. Drop down to your knees. Chaturanga low. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. This time, left foot steps forward. Drop your right heel down to the floor, rooting towards the outer edge of your right foot. Coming up, warrior one. So remember about hip width between your feet, so you can rotate those hips forward. And then drop your tailbone down to the floor. You've got it. Warrior two, opening it up wide. Drop your weight down center, reaching long. Try to avoid this. Shoulders away from your ear, reach really long. Flip your palms. Right hand down, left hand up. Reverse warrior. And then coming all the way back down to the floor. This time we're just stepping it back to downward facing dog. All right. So moving into crescent lunge. Right foot steps forward in between your hands. So the difference between warrior one and crescent, your back heel is up off the floor. So before you even lift your torso away from your thigh, fire up that back leg. Kneecap up towards the ceiling. Press your heel back. Right foot pulls back towards the middle of your mat. Left foot is pulling forward towards the middle of your mat. So you're really isometrically pulling everything in towards center. There's crescent lunge. You got it. And then we'll switch sides. So transitioning through downward facing dog. Step your left foot through. Pressing your heel back. Breathe in to reach up. Squeeze muscle in towards the bone again. Try not to just sink down into the joints. Wake everything up. Squeeze every muscle in your legs. Pull your belly button in towards your spine. Relax your shoulders. And try not to have like a scrunch face. Try to relax. Good job, guys. Making your way back downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward, cross your ankles, find your way to the floor any way that you get there. So those are a few key points for our beginners, or what we hit in every single flow, at least that I do. Those are my pinnacles. So work on those and build some strength, and I hope you guys enjoy. Good work.